Everybody's saying that they like my style. Wanna know how I do it? I smile. While you were out there saying hey, hi, hello, I was getting dressed up in shades of yellow.
Hello, welcome to episode 41 of the Lovely Job podcast. I'm Leah Spicer-Pownall. I'm the marketing manager at Miss Bush, and this is...
I am the very sleep-deprived Emma Marshall, the MD of Miss Bush.
Yes. We're going to try and make something interesting out of today's episode because we're both in a bit of a bad mood.
Yeah, I mean, how, where I just had a response from a mother on the Insta stories that I did, and how can everybody not be anxious against the kind of backdrop of global conflict now? Do you know what I mean? I remember back in the day when we were all very anti-Brits going into Iraq, but at least we had a sort of UN resolution about it, however wrong it was and however much we protested. I just feel like it is quite a weird time when you just feel like you're just watching this kind of lawless world around you. And then, I've seen a number of people post it on their own stories going, we're in this kind of backdrop of, everyone's just casually dropping Armageddon into every sentence. And then you just think, well, I suppose that does just give everyone a heightened level of anxiety about everything. And so if you kind of, from all the learnings that I've done with my kids and everything, learning about the window of tolerance, like what you can take and what you can't take, levels of heightened anxiety all the way around, it's exactly what you can do. And it's seemingly unable to control the bigger things around us. But then it's very hard sometimes when you're in a state of heightened anxiety to do the things that you're supposed to do, like sleep or eat well or be mindful or have, a sense of spiritual well-being. When you're so anxious, you're sort of almost paralyzed. So it's, I think it's, I don't think it's necessarily like that we're going to sound miserable, because I can always find gallows humor in most things, but it's not very surprising. And I have to remind myself it's not very surprising.
No, it's true. It's just a collective bubble of anxiety right now, isn't there? And it's very weird, like going on with just your daily life when things like that are happening. And obviously, what did that mother of the bride say? Like worrying about the cost of the wedding when all of this is happening in the world.
Yeah, and also at the one point that's a very real concern. Do you know what I mean? Budgeting for anything is a very real concern because also in the larger sense that political turmoil, or war is going to have impacts on currency, on trade, on economies, all that kind of stuff. So, what you're spending does have a huge impact on that. What I would say, I mean, you and I, maybe quite some of the mums and the brides at the moment, probably, because COVID was 4 or 5 years ago now, maybe feel slightly removed from that horror show that we had when, everything got shut down, nobody could have a party and nobody could do this, you couldn't gather, you couldn't bring people together. And everyone was like, oh, like weddings, do you remember we had all that kind of backlash online, didn't we? It's like, oh, it's like first world problem, or some other shit about whatever they would say that it wasn't worth worrying about weddings, or they're being cancelled, or they're spending too much money, or they would go out of fashion and would never come back, and all of that stuff set against a global pandemic, which at the time was narrated like it was a war. So the anxiety there, the anxiety about the impact it would have on everybody's finances, their health, But I think the thing is with the weddings there, what it really did show to a point that yes, it can feel like a first world problem or like a something like not the most essential thing in the world, but it's what we do everything for. Do you know what I mean? It's what we go to work for. It's what we do everything for, is for cherished moments in your personal life. We don't go to work to just be like a cog in an industrial machine. We go to work to provide for our children and to be able to celebrate with your family meaningful moments in your life with whatever resources you choose to spend on that. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's bad that people make people feel bad about spending the money. I don't think anybody should ever spend more than they're comfortable, or even if they're borrowing money for it, I don't think you should feel bad about borrowing money or using that, I think it's absolutely fine. Do you know what I mean? Because it's what you do. And also, what I did think, honestly, I was just getting really annoyed with the stories. I was so tired and tetchy. What I couldn't really type out was, if you're talking about, some of the people at the cause of all the conflicts at the moment, the ideologies of the governments of those, don't really bear scrutiny compared to a sort of liberal ideology, which I would share. So I think celebrating the freedom of your children to marry whoever they choose, in whatever way they choose, with whatever faith, whatever gender, whatever religion or lack thereof. Do you know what I mean? Or like sexuality. Fine, good. I'm really pleased about that. I think it's like, I think with the increasingly right-wing populism, I think we have to defend what we think now as, like liberal values, but we haven't had them that long. What is the ability of same-sex couples to get married? That's only like 10, 15 years old. It's not even that old.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, I think it's important that I'm not trying to trivialize world affairs and make weddings look really important, but they are. And we had this argument back in the what about weddings era, hashtag what about weddings, that they are an important cultural phenomena, important to people's families, important to people's social life, important to most of my clients' actual bloody summers. They can't do a thing without working around about 10 weddings, and I think that, the oh God, it means I don't want to sound like a fucking fridge magnet, but like love triumphing is surely what it's about, really. Yeah, so I'd say, yeah, have anxiety about your wedding. Do you know what I mean? But just be fucking grateful that you're living in a country where you can marry whoever you want with whatever religion without any fear of consequence. I think that is an incredible thing to be able to have. And I think that looks even more dangerous and threatened now. So I think, again, don't want to get all what about weddings like we did before, but I think that taught us a lesson in COVID, but like maybe 5 years on, those couples that got married during that time or didn't get married during that time, that sort of trauma has probably just dissipated now. Unless you're actually with a couple or the families, immediate families, you probably didn't realize just how traumatizing it was.
Yeah, true. I feel like anyone that's like really stressed out right now, hearing that, it's just like it will make them feel emotional, like because it's just that's what's important, isn't it?
Absolutely,
it's all about love.
That's it. That's all that it is. Do you know what I mean? We had a part of the reason why I think I'm really tired today is normally, like on Saturdays, I like to go home straight from work, sit on the settee, do nothing, watch Drag Race. And it was Harvey's birthday, so like he got a bunch of his friends out for a meal. So I went straight out, and then we walked back from this one place, this pub where we had a meal, past somewhere in Southseas called Bobby's Lounge, where there was obviously live music and someone doing covers. And it's quite a big drag queen bar and things like that. And it's like, of course, that was going to magnet me into that. But it was really interesting to be in a place with my kids where there's a lot of Harvey's friends are non-binary. A lot of them are autistic. We're in a bar where Marshy's chatting to a drag queen, and look, we're just looking at a 60-year-old working class man. There's no weirdness, nothing, just complete acceptance. And I was saying, I just was reflecting on this with Harvey yesterday, and he's like, and he was just saying, when people are allowed to kind of access that kind of reality gently, step by step, without having, sort of politics screamed at them, people are generally super accepting. Do you know what I mean? So to see like Marsha, who when I met him 20 years ago, probably maybe the language he used might have been slightly different. I mean, he's always been a really lovely person, would never be prejudiced in any way. But just the ease of that situation now, where you've got a very colourful presenting group of people, and to be proud of living in that kind of city with that kind of acceptance with these kind of people, I just think it's really good. So that, I think, is like, just got to hold on to that on to that bit. That's what's going to get us through this, really. And then eventually us liberals might have to find a bit of a louder voice or a bit of a language in which to speak up, because at the moment we're allowing really kind of polarized political views to take control language. And I think, it's like, that film where Gary Oldman plays Hitler and his Darkest Hour. And right at the end, it's like one of the famous Hitler speeches, and somebody goes, "What just happened there?" He's like, "I think he's just gone to war with the English language or something. He's used the English language to go to war." But it's language is so important. Do you know what I mean? So I do think that we need to, and I find it really hard because obviously on our Miss Bush feeds, we don't share any politics, and I don't think it's the place. I think it looks trite and posturing and performative to put politics on a wedding dress feed. So it's never going to go on there. It doesn't mean that I don't have a political point of view, and I'm very happy to share it with people individually and face to face. I don't really think that that's the place for that. So
no, I agree.
Anyway, so I'm really tired.
I don't know what to say now.
No, well, I tell you what we're going to say is like, firstly, I think I'm going to shut the cats out of my bedroom. As much as I love my cats, the minute I'm awake at 3 a.m, and then they decide that they're either, if it's slightly glimmer of daylight, they come in demanding food, or like Susie and Vin will have a scrap. Polly just sits there watching. If there's any hint of a fly or anything like that, Susie hunts it down. I'm like, they're going to have to go out of our room. As cute as they are, and as much as I love them, just like to wake up, they're curled up in bed next to me, being all like cat breathed and all that sort of stuff. It is really annoying. And also, like Marshy, we all know he's a little bit deaf for years of using power tools. He can't hear it. He can't fucking hear it, and I'm like there. So, but that's
It's
the problem.
just you.
Yeah. So 3:30 in the morning, I'm scrolling on my phone, which you shouldn't do. I should read a book or something. But I'm scrolling on my phone. That flipping advert for the Times that was like someone going, 61, I've lost 5 stone and done this, and I'm just feeling really fat and bloated and being really like I'm talking to myself internally with language I would not allow to be heard outside in my house or in my business. Do you know what I mean? It's like a constant beration. It's like, you're not fit, you lack discipline, you're an alcoholic, you haven't done this, you haven't had a vegetable, you sat around all day yesterday. Do you know, that level of like beration that just went on and on and on and on. So eventually I'd say, well, I'm going to open the phone, look at something else. I'll look at some bridal TikTok. Oh my God.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know.
That's going to help.
That is not the cure. That is definitely not the cure. I mean, these are people on that TikTok thing that are willingly homogenizing what it is to be a bride into one aesthetic. You know, like back in the day, and I hate to be such a kind of like, oh, back in the day, but back in the day when the wedding blogs first came like on board, so when people had an opinion and Twitter and things like that, what they railed against was cookie cutter weddings with everybody looking the same. Oh, hello, TikTok. Everyone's doing the same dance to the same tune, and everyone seems to pick bridesmaids that are all identical height, identical sizes, all look nice in shorty pajamas that can take choreography instructions. And every single bride, come and get ready with me, or come and try 100 million dresses with me. They seem to go to every shop and try on the same dress everywhere. There's literally no variation. And everyone goes, well, I don't want to choose. I don't want to choose. It's like you're going to choose a strapless fishtail, because that's what everybody is choosing.
Yep.
Do you know, it's like, so like I did get a bit like hot under the collar
You've
about
gotten
that.
onto the wrong side of TikTok. It's not the good side.
What is the good side though?
Well, you need to start looking for things that are more unique and individual, and then watch more of them. And the more you watch of them, the more they'll show you the good ones. So because you're watching all of those, the more you're watching them, it's going to show you more and more of them that they do all look the same, and they do all follow the same trends. But you need to look for the good stuff.
I can't understand why. And like, somebody's going, looks like a bit of a wedding influencer now. It's like, you've got 1,100 followers. How does that make you an influencer?
No.
Get out. Do
Doesn't.
you know what I mean?
But I think everybody's so desperate to become an influencer that they're using their weddings to do it. So they think this is what's going to get the most likes, this is going to get the most views, and they're looking at what other things are doing well, and they're just doing the same thing. It's just like, why are you getting married? Are you doing it to get views? Or
well, I was telling you before we started this, wasn't I, that one of our friends that's got a venue had to go and harangue a bridal party to hurry up and get married, because they would spend so long doing TikToks. They were running 25 minutes late for the registrar, and registrars don't wait.
No.
If you miss them, you miss them.
Yeah, because they've got another wedding coming up. Like, they've not got time to
in a
miss
different
about.
venue somewhere else. So yeah, I literally was like, you've got to stop doing your TikToks now. Also, the other thing on on these TikTok, and I think maybe I just did go down a rabbit hole of like uniformity, conformity, and bizarreness. But like the men just seem to be as much of an accessory as a pair of heart-shaped sunglasses.
Yes.
They literally have nothing to say in their opinion, and like seemingly no involvement in this whatsoever. And like some of these girls have obviously kind of like goddessed themselves to the hilt, or they're like, there was somebody really, really whining that her dress didn't fit her fitting as well. And I was like, oh my God, that's what a fitting's for. Do you know what I mean? If you're going to buy a standard size dress, no, it's not going to fit because no one's a standard size. Anyway, but yeah, it just seems to me that I was like, you know, like they're all doing this incredible kind of like, get ready with me, and then like walking towards their groups. And I was like, there's not so much grooming gone on there, has there? Do you know what I mean? Quite regular blokes.
Thing is, as well, like they're going to have practiced these TikToks that they do a lot beforehand. Because I tried to do a TikTok with my friends the other week when we were out as a dance one, and it was so bad because we just did it for the first time, and none of us could do it. It was funny. We'd had a few margaritas at this point, and we couldn't do it. So for them to do it so perfectly, they will have had to have practiced a lot beforehand as well. So this is not just something they've decided to do on a whim. Like they've pre-planned it.
And also I saw someone ask on there as well, asking for a content creator, and there was a surprisingly huge amount of like people putting themselves forward.
There's so many. Every time I open Instagram or TikTok, it's just a new wedding content creator, and we're getting them following us on Miss Bush constantly and messaging as well. Like, oh, do you need a content creator? It's just anybody that's got an iPhone thinks that they can do it now.
Yeah, but if you're a content creator, like content creation suggests that you have some kind of original spark of a germ of an idea or something, but you don't.
No.
You're just producing the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah, you see them and they all look exactly the same as well. Like everyone's doing the same videos. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Makes me think maybe I should just do it. Maybe I should just set up as a wedding content creator.
I would just be like, I'm sorry, like you documented I try 100 dresses with me, and you picked that one. One of them was just like, Jesus Christ, just what? How did you call off the search there? And then somebody else going, oh, I picked this one. It's not very nice. Now I've changed my mind. Like it's an Eva Lendell, and it's like these are really cheap dresses. Do you know what I mean? They're like they're not great dresses. They're good dresses, but not incredible, insanely beautiful. It's just, and also, I honestly like, you know, the same thing when I wrote that article years ago about, you know, one of the reasons for not allowing a free for all people taking photos in your shops is because I am judging your shop. The amount of bad hanging up I've seen, suspended ceilings, aircon units, random bits of furniture, not very nice rugs, you know, like somebody taking content at the window. There's a very suburban housing estate out there. I was like, this, if you just let the image rights go of your business. Again, I'm just what I was saying before. You are creating a very expensive backdrop for someone to create content which you've got no control over. And I just like, I can see sometimes when they have like people have really control that and have people, you know, trying on dresses in their shop, but these are very average. Some of these images are coming out. I don't really think it's serving the and also I don't think, if I would say, like, unfortunately it seems to be the wedding club are quite a victim to this quite often. A lot of people there taking photos of themselves on a podium and then going, oh, it's all very spenny, I won't be buying anything here. It's like,
why
are you doing wasting their time?
Yeah,
it's like it's not a playground. And they're like, oh, it was 40 quid. I was like, they should charge you more.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, actually, something I was going to talk to you about, actually, is, so on TikTok, there's a new thing, and it's called Creator Insights, and it kind of gives you inspiration for what you should post in your niche and things that are trending right now. So I want to see what you think of some of these ideas for our content day.
Okay.
So in the wedding dress inspo niche, so some of the trending topics right now, we've got Hailey Bieber.
Oh, do you not think that wedding looks a bit on the rocks, though? I watched, in the middle of the night again, I watched a reel or something of Justin Bieber behaving really badly, seemingly shutting a door on the car door and her smacking her in the face. Do you know what I mean? I don't think Hailey Bieber is a beautiful woman. And
We'll do Hailey Bieber inspired style, and we'll get trainers, running shorts, things like that, so she can run away.
yeah, I feel like she should definitely be like, we should be like, ask for Angela, Hailey.
Yes.
Ain't going wrong. So yeah, I don't think, I mean, I don't normally look at stuff like that, but I honestly spent 3.5 hours staring at my phone until I finally decided to get up.
Yeah. Okay, another one, we've got old money elegance. Something like
Wow.
that. I feel like that just happens anyway.
The
maybe?
trouble is I can't really comment on that because that is our client.
Yeah, exactly. We just do that anyway.
And you can't buy it. You can't buy old money elegance if you've got it. It's like
people
me
faking
knowing
it, isn't it?
It's me knowing what thing is right and what's not right. I can't even tell you how I know it. You're
No,
like,
I'm the same. Like when I'm designing things for graphic design, if something looks wrong, I know, but I can't always explain why. I'm just like, I've got to move this thing a tiny bit and then it'll be right.
Yeah.
Minimalist choices is one of them, which obviously we can do very, very easily.
Yeah.
But we've also got utilize themes like Disney or Regency for inspiration.
No.
How do you feel Disney inspired?
No,
content?
I do not feel. The only way that I ever mentioned Disney in Bush is with relation to a general 1950s aesthetic. So that when you had Edith Head and people like that doing incredible costumes for 1950s films, then I would say the artists from Disney bounced off that incredible era of costume design to create, sort of dresses that had, like, so I'm talking old Disney, so like really sort of 50s Disney,
like Snow White.
Yeah, and I think that's become. So I think in some occasions that inspiration looks incredible, and other times it looks like a sort of an IP tie-in in nylon that you'd buy from Tesco's.
Yeah.
So yeah. So no, I wouldn't reference Disney other than in the most kind of like, like
we could do like an intellectual Disney kind of thing.
Disney. Okay, yeah. Maybe I could do intellectual Disney.
That'd be quite good. We could actually look at some actual references and things. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I might do intellectual Disney, but I might have to take Disney, then go back to the source material, be like, what film do you think inspired this drawing? But do you know what I mean? It is literally just, and it's also got a hit of Victoriana in Disney as well, which I also love. So
yes, I also love that as well.
Yeah.
Also, it says Regency inspiration. A lot of the time, though, if you look at these American creators that are putting things out, they don't understand their references for anything.
Yeah, but I think Regency as well. Like, I kind of quite like the concept of Regency based on literature. Do you know what I mean? So I would be quite happy.
Oh, that would be great if we did like
references.
Jane Austen and Bronte references.
But I would basically like Reader, I Married Him. Do you know what I mean? That kind of reference, as opposed to like having
Bridgerton.
harps playing like fucking indie tracks.
Taylor Swift.
I can't even deal with a harp. A harp, in my mind, is an absolute atmosphere sponge. Harp music makes me feel really, really punchy. And obviously, this has obviously got something. I don't know why I feel so bad for the harpists, but when I walked around that bridal fair that I did, like the one I went to in Hampshire, and there was harps playing like Bridgerton, and I just think that is the very opposite of old money.
Yeah,
massive snob. Oh,
I'm just thinking, by the way, I put out a wedding the other week and they had harps playing songs when they walked down the aisle. One of our brides.
But the thing is, though, can I just say, though, I don't think you should cut it out, because I am prepared to admit I think this might be a neurodiversity. I also am not very good with jazz. It really, it makes me feel quite anxious because I can't follow the tune. Like, there isn't a tune, and it seems like discordant, and I don't get it. Do you know what I mean? And I can't. It makes me feel like, unless it's some amazing Ella Fitzgerald or something like that, or Billie Holiday, where someone's actually singing. If it's just jazz people doing that, it makes me feel really anxious, like I'm going to have a panic attack. So I think leave that harp thing in. I think that's a me problem, not an anybody else problem. Yeah, it's not. It's just a me problem. And like my white flower problem, which is very evident all across TikTok as well, and also an overuse of eucalyptus. But that aside, that is so okay. So I think we could use some of those themes. That would be good for our content. Do you know what I would like to see a little touch of on there is like, I think there's a stealth like boho reboot on its way.
Ooh, really? Okay. Why do you think that?
I just think that well, it's festival season, so you kind of tend to see a little bit more of that kind of stuff. I mean, obviously you've had that Kate Moss Zara collaboration, of which I might well have just bought the studded leather bra for the shoot as well. And I like
oh my god, Emma. This is a sparkly bikini all over again. Why have you bought this?
Sparkly bikini is going to go. That is going in under that. Like I have like multiple ways to rewear that like white tuck satin jacket.
Okay, fine.
So with multiple ways that white tux jacket can go into your wardrobe forever and a day afterwards. And also, while I have someone beautiful to dress up, then I'm going to make them wear all the things that I want to wear that I can't.
But just remember, this is a content creation day. It's not a fashion shoot. So we're going to be doing videos.
We've got a photographer. We've got a new photographer, haven't we?
Yes, we have. We're having Scarlett Cook, who I actually have met on TikTok. I keep seeing her videos pop up, and she said before that she wants to work with us. So I thought, you know what? Let's get somebody new. Let's get her in.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
But like, you know, obviously I've got 4 dresses from Sister Jane to wear, all of which are slightly tight on my boobs. I'm fucked up about that. So we're going to have to work with her on angles and how to make me look like a character. So also I've got a pair of tights that Maureen is going to literally lose her shit over.
We need to wind up the American, like, old ladies. They're going to get mad at you.
I've got like this yellow ochre lace dress with massive collars from Sister Jane. And I went on to Mod shoes and bought like 70s patterned yellow tights.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
I'm going to look like some kind of weird big bird.
Yeah, my first thought when you're saying that is like Grace and Perry.
Yeah, probably that as well. I'm going to look like super weird, and I'm okay with that. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah,
I'm
sounds
gonna
good to
literally
me.
like try and get that kind of get that venom going from the YouTube followers. But in all seriousness, I have I can see little whiffs of kind of Bohemia coming back. Like I want to put a little bit of maximalism around the edges of things. So
okay, but yeah, sounds amazing.
Yes, but saying that minimalism, we've had some new dresses this week.
Well, what we should do actually, we could do like dresses, but we'll do like here it is minimalist and here it is maximalist, and then you can do 2 different ways to style each dress. Quite fun.
And will we do something like that, where we like that, and then you come away and it's completely different?
Yes.
Good, as long as we are doing that, that's great. Well, it's interesting to know what we've got. I mean, we've got some things, I think, like the couple of the dresses that we're borrowing from Divine Atelier. Those ones that one of them, I can't remember what it's. Really useful if I can remember the name of it, but it's an off the shoulder dress and it's got one really picked up skirt on one side, so it's a very, very, I think it looks more like a sort of pirate bride. So yes. I think that would be really good with a sort of tricorn hat, a stripy over the knee sock and some boots or something.
Vivienne Westwood.
Yeah, like literally channel Vivienne Westwood pirate. And also just like sidebar Vivienne Westwood, did you see that like they have done the menswear collection and the literal like scorn that has been poured on it was very Zoolander derelict.
I need to look that up.
Yeah, it was really bad, and I can't remember where it was, either ID or Face or something, and everyone was like, you know, they were, but I felt the same when I said it on the podcast about that, the fashion show in Barcelona, and I was like, there's some nice pieces in there, but a hair bow with the logo on is not something Dame Viv would have sanctioned.
No. Oh, I actually saw a really great Vivienne Westwood wedding dress recently. I follow the Westwood archives and they share like really cool old stuff from Vivienne Westwood, and she actually made Miss Piggy's wedding dress in the Muppet movie. I was like, yes, Miss Piggy.
Oh, I tell you what, I'm gonna like. I found a really beautiful floral corset as well, actually, on ASOS the other day, which I might buy for this. Anyway, so I feel like I've got some maximalist options definitely for that, but a sort of piratey kind of something. I might find out if one of my kids has got a tricorn hat, actually, sort of thing they would have.
Definitely going to have one.
Yeah.
Have they got a sword? Because I really want to get a sword into it. Some kind of shoe.
Do they have swords? I mean, literally, what? Which
Do
do
you
you want? A large sword, a reenactment sword? What kind of era? What kind of like plotline sword are you after? We have swords.
Okay, well, we're having a sword.
We've got decommissioned guns and everything because they have them for the battle reenactment stuff, the historic societies. I mean, literally, we're like an armory. None of it works. Obviously, nothing would do any harm to anyone, but it's like, yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
I'm
just like, no, we have to get the specific content that we want. It's not supposed to be like creative. And then they're like, let's get a sword.
Let's get swords. Let's get swords and bras. I mean, okay, I get it. We're like going to do that. I mean, we've done, we managed to power through quite a lot of content in a day, so I'm sure we can get much stuff. And we've got basically, because Leah's back, little Leah is back, and Charlie has got like 2 days only left to do. We've got 2 assistants that can run around doing everything, steaming things, cleaning up, doing that stuff, taking pictures of you, taking pictures of me.
Oh, God.
So I know, right? No problem, no pressure. So we've got 2 assistants, a new model, a new photographer. The flowers look really maximalist.
Yes, we've got Charlotte from Frankie Lane's doing us an amazing display again.
Yeah, and
exciting.
So it will be super creative. So just don't know what. Yeah, but also we do have some new dresses in, so I probably should discuss those.
Yeah, let's quickly mention those.
So we have got, well, I don't know if everybody should know, but if they do, that I obviously went to Barcelona late last year and got the preview collection. So you'll see quite a lot of the 26 collection has been in for like about 2 months now, but we've got some new pieces have actually arrived today last week from the main collection. So 2621 is one of them. So this is a very wearable take on the sort of draped skirt, draped bodice ideal. So very pretty, very soft, very relaxed, and a little bit less sexy. So kind of like quite casual. So if everybody wants to just, like not be striking a pose the whole time, it's really good. Lovely low back, low armholes, really nice. And it's got this is really dull and specific, but it's made out of a very, very soft satin that if you actually so it's got no seams on the bodice, so you pull that very, very sharp and tight, but you've got to get that draping right over the bust. So I think that's going to be a real specific kind of like it's a very specific fit, but very wearable, very easy to like throw on and look effortless. So that has arrived. We've also got the 2632, which is, genetically, this dress is a direct descendant of 166.
Yeah.
So it's high necked. And actually, we haven't had a solid boat neck for some time now that looks like this. It's a really good shaped dress. It's got the deep cummerbund waistband, which they innovated about sort of 5-6 years ago, which looks fantastic. So it's a style of dress that looks really good on someone either really petite or really tall. No idea why that is. Really great backless, really backless, but without losing waist definition because of that deep cummerbund. So that I think is going to be really beloved by bush classicists, basically.
And it has pockets, just so you all know.
Oh, doesn't everybody have pockets?
It has got pockets. I have to bring up the pockets.
I thought everyone just knew that was a thing now.
No, we know this, but I think people will always be surprised when a dress has got pockets.
Now, this is a very interesting dress, 2647. Okay, again, a bit adjacent to the 166 dress, so very JP. And I am like reminded of why I went to Spain 20 years ago and bought Jesus Peiro dresses, is because I was so bored of samey strapless dresses. And it was the first time 20 years ago that the Chinese made dresses like completely washed away all the independent British design. And they represented great value for money. And this is what I'm seeing now. I just look at all the Australian brands and they all look lovely, but exactly the same. And we are just going down a very narrow field of strapless dresses, like column skirts, buttons to the end of the train. You all know they're made in the same Chinese factories, and they could, whatever label on them, they all look like we know they've come from the same place. And I'm not saying that that's bad. It's just a thing. But for me, it was one of the reasons I went to Spain in the first place was to get an alternative look to that. And that's how I ended up with Jesus Peiro. So this dress is not only very representative of being alternative to that look. It's got that kind of Upper East Side princess kind of vibe I like, so kind of posh Charlotte, kind of Sex and the City kind of thing. But the most interesting thing about this particular sample is I've been working on the quiet of Jesus Peiro over the last 6 months to try and get them to take bust shaping out of dresses. And I put it to them, my kind of brief was like, can you imagine that bust cups don't exist, that they're not available, you can't use them, and we're not augmenting somebody's chest with some padding. And I was like, and what is really problematic for fitting is if you overshape those bust seams to start with, you've only got the option really of putting bust cups in there. And I have found increasingly people with naturally smaller boobs don't want them made look bigger. They don't want them to be filled out. They don't want them augmented. They want that natural shape that they are. They don't feel comfortable any other way. So we've gone through several iterations to get this right, and we've now got a very unshaped, gentle bust seam on there that wouldn't need a bust cup. I mean, you still got the option if you wanted to have, some. And again, this is like part of the understanding of a bride. You've got to find out what their particular relationship is with their body, and specifically what relationship is with the boobs. And so basically, we've now got a sort of pattern reference we can go to and say, would you prefer to have this more shaped bust, which might need a bust cut put into it, or would you rather go natural to your own body shape? So I'm actually really excited that this particular dress has been done specifically for us with the less shaping. So that might not seem super exciting to people as a fashion statement, but it's not about, sometimes the dresses are about fashion, but I mean, if you are outside of bridal, everything just looks the same. So what I'm trying to do really is for each bride is to honour how they want to present. And if they want to present in a way that's more neutral, or they want to present more natural, or they want to kind of like give themselves a little boost, whatever gives people that confidence to be the centre of attention is what I'm going to do. But it's just great to be able to demonstrate it. So that's quite exciting, I think, in my world. That represents, that is almost like reinventing the wheel.
The next one is actually one that everybody loved when I put out the videos from Barcelona. Like when I did a vote for which dresses people wanted to see more of, this was the one that pretty much everyone loved.
I'm going to have to say this, like 2666, because 2666 is a bit like,
Number of the beast.
I know, yeah. So not getting too like metal about it. It's the least metal looking dress ever as well. So this is a really beautiful silk brocade. It's got lovely draping on it. It's very, well, this actually, I would say, if we were going to do contemporary Disney, but based on 1950s couture and the kind of ripping up of the ration book and being more indulgent with fabrics and being very kind of Dior new look, then I would say that this was a direct descendant of that vibe, basically. It's beautiful. We've had, of course, our own version of this done because eagle-eyed people might notice that it has faux buttons on the back. Well, not faux buttons. It's got big buttons on the back that don't do up. And that for me is like I'm sorry, why is there a row of buttons next to a zip? Literally, it is such a giant ick for me. I was like, I just can't have that. Unless you can make me big button loops, we're having regular buttons and loops that actually do up and undo. So that's what we've got. So yeah, I can't be doing with a faux button nonsense, just nasty.
No, it's just like having fake pockets, isn't it?
If it's worse than fake pockets, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's like a button is supposed to have a function. Like sometimes you don't put stuff in your pockets because it ruins the line of something.
True.
So like a fake pocket, is a sort of decorative feature.
It kind of breaks up the fabric a bit, doesn't it, as well, I guess, yeah.
But like
I
buttons,
can say buttons is worse.
Yeah, next to a zip. It's like, I mean, I'm okay with a zip. If somebody wants to go minimal, I just have a zip. It's fine, concealed zips, very stylish, but yeah, not the fake buttons. So, so those are new dresses in this week, which we're very delighted to have got our mitts on, because there are some dresses by this time of the year now that need to be cleaned, they need to be repaired. So that those pieces are in, which is good.
Amazing. And I'm going to put them all over the grid now. And
yes.
I can use your little snippets for some floating heads over the images, which is good.
Oh, can you? Oh, like literally, I'm like, oh, the eye bags. I've already messaged Caroline, the makeup artist, for like Thursday, and be like, you're going to have to bring the trowel. I need to like, and then I might even have to have that thing, you know, that Boy George thing when I get the highlighter around, just that. And then maybe, or maybe I could just tape my like face back like they did on Drag Race. Yes, I can do that.
You don't need to do that. Like, you'll be so like surrounded by ruffles and looking amazing. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't tell me about it now. I don't think anybody should ever think when they're in the middle of like a sleepless night of anxiety that a Monday morning should be a good time to start anything. I didn't give up smoking on a Monday morning. I randomly gave up smoking in the middle of the day one day when I was just, no, that's it. It's enough. I'm not doing it anymore. So I was like, I'm just going to get up and just have, you know, like water and bananas and like ginger tea. And I was like, I'm really tired. I just want some toast.
Yeah, you still need to fuel yourself.
I know, but the toast just
when you're so busy.
This is what I'm saying. Is I just think like, that's why I was like everything is making me bloated at the moment. But I think I get to a capacity of like whatever body size, weight, shape. And I just think that there is a point where it's not that I think I'm not cool, or that I don't think that I look good, or that I don't think I'm clever or interesting, and like that I could be engaging at whatever different body shape. But I just find my boobs really uncomfortable. They literally weigh a ton anyway. And if I don't like at least kind of like take some exercise, put some vegetables in my diet and things like that, I put on weight really easily because I'm postmenopausal, and it all goes to my boobs. And then you just end up with just this like things that do weigh like a couple of like oven ready chickens at the best of times. I'm up to a small turkey weight now. Do you know what I mean? It's like that. It's got to. It can't happen, and it's not because of any aesthetic or social pressure. It's like it's representative of me not having a balance in my existence.
Yeah, and it's if you're uncomfortable, then you're going to be miserable, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not toast, just like some protein, some eggs or some.
Well, I had toast because but eggs will be the eggs and mushrooms. And I mean, it's not like I don't dislike healthy food either. Do you know what I mean?
It's just having the energy to actually do it. Isn't it?
And then also like trying to understand what I tell to people is if you're not in a space where you can, like you said to my kids the whole time. It's like, particularly because mine are all neurodiverse, and it's like. And then you watch people that are neurotypical, and they're perfectly able to, you know, be able to keep doing the things that make them more neurotypical.
It's like, but when you can do it for a bit, and then once you kind of stop, it's really hard to get back into it again. And like I'm telling you to eat eggs, and so far this morning I've had 2 coffees and a hobnob. It's like, who am I to tell you?
Can I just say the lovely people that Lisa and Jax from Mel Cloche actually sent me a present this week. They said they sent me a magnum of Whispering Angel and some really gorgeous shortbread biscuits. I felt I actually must send them an actual direct message and say thank you, because I haven't yet.
Oh, that's nice.
But I all of they were like the shortbread biscuits were in lieu of breakfast every day at work last week. I was like, I literally looked like the Cookie Monster, like. It was just crumbs, and there's people like, "Oh, are they all gone? Have they now?" I was like, "Yeah, they went, yeah."
Yeah, I bet they were lovely though. Straight
they
from
were
Scotland.
really lovely, yeah. Well, straight from Scotland via John Lewis, seemingly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, right. On that note, it's 45 minutes, and I probably should eat something that isn't a hobnob biscuit. So before I edit this and put it out, and I think it's in quite a good episode.
Yeah, good. Yes, I know. It doesn't feel like I've imparted that much wisdom, but I feel like at least it's just kind of like, try not to. What I would say, the overriding thing is like try not to negate the importance of things like your family weddings in the midst of this trauma. Do you know what I mean? It's so important to be able to and to really treasure that freedom. So yeah.
Okay. On that note, we will see you next Monday when we've done our content day.
We'll have Thursday.
Got everything all ready.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
You'd like to know, wouldn't you? You'd like to know, wouldn't you? You'd like to know.